Hi there folks, Borislav247 here with another Days Gone Challenge Mode tutorial video. And on this video folks, I am going to show you all how to take out the Survive challenge to a gold standard in the easiest way possible. Now, I do already have a couple of videos showing this particular challenge. However, whenever I manage to come up with a more simplified route and method for doing any of these challenges, I like to show them. And this way of doing things on this particular challenge makes this challenge as easy as it gets. It really does. By simplifying things down, not overcomplicating it, just a few simple instructions will get the job done if you follow them. So, without any further ado folks, let's get started. Right, folks, before I actually go on to the ring selections, I do want to point out that you can make life a little bit easier for yourself if you have the gold medal for the challenge called Outride. When you get the gold for this, I have it highlighted on screen here. It's called the Knuckle Breaker. It gives you 40% melee durability. This is one of the few patches that will make your job a whole lot easier. Now, rings. I'm looking at the 1%er. Because you make a whole lot of headshots on this challenge, and the second ring I'm going for is the Joker because there is a lot of items to pick up. Once you have these two, I'm just going to choose one of my favorite characters, the bad girl herself, Ricky. So that's it, ready to rock and roll. Let's do this. Right then folks, straight from the off I am looking to take out these first two Marauders with stealth kills. That's the first one taken care of nice and easy, and they have the 9mm gun, which I will be taking. It is a piece of shit, but it's better than nothing. You do need to have a firearm at the very start. So I'm now moving on to the first main step, which is to collect some scrap from the two cars that are nearby. And I'm not really too fussy about the figure that I'm looking for with these. Whatever these two cars yield, that's fine, I will take it. This is basically for the end game section when the melee weapon at the very end, which will be the fire axe, is used extensively, and you ideally want to be able to repair it as best as you can. But however, that is the two cars taken care of. I'm not bothered about the other car over there because it only ever yields one scrap. Now from here, that's the second Marauder taken care of, and very interesting folks that I will point out, I'm not touching the melee weapon that that Marauder dropped. Yeah, because my priority now folks is taking out step number 2, and that is getting the 6 stealth kills. And I do this simply with the next 2 waves that come of 3 Marauders each. I look to take out one of them every time with a headshot, and then take out the other 2 with stealth kills. That is one of them there, so I'm basically now halfway there already because I took out 2 obviously at the very start with stealth. And a very handy piece of information to know here folks, if you're wanting to activate survival vision, select a rock and actually start aiming it. When you do, normally the nearest Marauder to you will be highlighted, but it will only highlight one Marauder every time. Okay, so at this point I'm just looking to loot any of the Marauders that I kill, and as you can see there folks, I've picked up the rifle as well. It's just a little bit better than the 9mm, and I'll be quite honest folks, the 9mm now I'm looking to have very limited use of because I want to keep it purely as a backup. So at this point folks, I've gone over to that area there to pick up a bandage. Very handy to know that there is one there right from the very start. But as the game goes on, I'm going to be looking to pick up all the items that the Marauders drop. And you get an incredible amount of med kits and bandages and whatnot. The only things I'm really looking for from the items that they're dropping is med kits, bandages, and ideally 1 or 2 smoke bombs if possible. Everything else is not really that important, with the exception of scrap of course, but it's not that often that you actually get scrap from any of the Marauders, but you do get it from time to time. Now, This is where the Joker does come into play, because as you can see there, I'm basically running along and sliding. When you slide, the Joker ring will allow you to pick up any items within a 4-meter area, with the exception of ammunition. Ammunition, you do have to actually run over it in order to get it. Right then folks, that is the stealth kills taken care of, so now I am moving on to step 3, which is all about the headshots. I require 75 in total folks, so it's now a case of watching that minimap every time with great interest and making sure that I'm in a good position every time where I do have some protection from the environment and just look to take out all of the Marauders at this point with headshots. There will be 1 or 2 exceptions to this, and I will talk about this a little bit later, but in fact, truth be told, I'll be talking about it fairly soon, because the first of the melee weapons that I require is coming up very soon.
Damn it, where is he?
Right then folks, a very important wave, because as you can see up on the top screen there, I currently have 11 kills in the Relentless total, and beside that I have in red SAF 12. This is basically to let everybody know that this is the first of my weapon changes that I am looking to make. When you have 11 Marauder kills, the next wave, 1 of them will have the SAF 12, and there we go. Now that I've got that folks, I'm not going to be looking to change my primary weapon now for quite some time. I basically just want to focus on the job in hand here, which is the headshots. But I will also point out that very soon I'm going to be looking to pick up my first melee weapon, and yep, there we go. I can see now that there is 16 kills in the Relentless total there. That is basically telling you the entire amount of Marauders you have currently killed in this run. And when it gets to 16, I know that the sledgehammer is going to be available from 1 of these Marauders. And once I have this bad boy, there are 4 different types of enemy which I will be looking to take out with it, and it will only be 1 of these 4, because any of these 4 can be taken out with the sledgehammer with 1 swing. It's really very handy, especially when you see the guns that these bad boys are packing. Okay, at this point folks, I'm nicely set up, so all I need to do now is concentrate on the headshots, because I know the next weapon that I require will come up once the Relentless total, which is the one on the top left that I've been talking about, reaches 31. Until it gets to there, I'm just going to stick with the SAF 12, and it's basically all about every single time just using the minimap, just positioning yourself in a position where you have some form of protection, where at the same time you can actually take out the Marauders, and it's rinse and repeat. And at that point there I didn't actually realise that there was another Marauder there, but however, no harm done. If you do that later on in the challenge, yes, it can be a bit of an issue, but right now it's just taking care of the waves that are coming down. And another very handy tip that I will give to everyone is basically in between the waves, when you're waiting for the next slot, take the time to reload your weapon. This will save you a lot of hassle when you start getting the larger numbers. And the numbers now for each of these waves are going to be 4 minimum. So at this point, again, I'm just taking the time to raid a couple of the Marauders' bodies there, a bit of looting just to see what I can get in the way of items. And at the moment, it's so far so good. And some actually quite good shooting there. Again, once I know that there's not too many of them about, I will from time to time take a little bit of a risk and start moving about just to try and pick up more of the items. And there are times when it is actually worth saving the last Marauder just purely to do this. So I'm just using the rock trick again there just to identify exactly where the Marauder currently is. And then I'm looking at the minimap there, which shows you exactly with all these crosses where the Marauders are that actually have items. So at this point I'm looking pretty good. Yep, full with the medkits and full with the bandages. And okay, I don't have a ridiculous amount of ammunition left. However, I do still have the pistol as backup should I need it. So let's get this last Marauder out of the way, and I am basically now going to be looking to get the next weapon that I require. As you can see, yep, I'm at that magic total of 31. So I know at least one of these Marauders will have the MWS. And once I have this weapon, folks, this will be the last primary weapon that I will have to pick up, because you get a ridiculous amount of ammunition with this particular weapon. And if you are conservative with your bullets, you can make it last. I do have a failsafe in play as well, which I will show as we get to it. But at the moment, I'm quite literally, I've taken care of most of them. There's only one left. I'm actually looking to bring this Marauder to this section of the map. I'm just basically trying to pull this Marauder away to the other side of this area that I'm working in, so that I can safely go back to the area where I took care of the last Marauders and pick up the MWS nice and safe. So as well as this, just taking the time to get one or two items, but there we go. That's the MWS, so fantastic. So at this point, folks, I'm just looking to pick up one or two more items as safely as I can. And at this point, it is quite literally that one. And I'm just going to take out this last Marauder and get ready for the next wave. And it is always the usual. I basically look to the minimap to see where the next lot are coming from. Try and make sure that the weapon that I've got is reloaded. And then get into position to take out the next lot with headshots. Now, the next lot of Marauders are quite unique, because one of them is one of the armoured guys that I showed a picture of earlier on, that are basically quite problematic because they have much better weapons. And yeah, as you can see there, I tried my best to get out of the way there, and I didn't do a very good job actually. I took quite a bit of damage. But this is the failsafe that I mentioned about, because I'm basically going to, once I've taken out this Marauder, I'm looking to pick up the weapon that he has, and it's an MG45. Now, in any of my runs, I generally tend to have... Wait a minute. Yep, that Marauder is suicidal, as he's clearly just taken himself out, so I'm going to take the gun. That is my failsafe should I run out of bullets with my primary weapon. I do not expect to, because I am pretty good in terms of bullet conservation. But for anyone who is playing the game that maybe is a little bit more wasteful with the shots, this is why I'm picking up that gun there. I'm suggesting you do the same. It is just very nice to have a backup should you run out of ammunition with your primary weapon. But again, it is the usual case of once I'm down to the last Marauder, especially now, I start to take more time to try and pick up as many items as possible, because I know now that the damage I'm going to start to take will be far greater than at the beginning of the run, because obviously they're coming with better weapons now, so it is quite literally rinse and repeat. It's very handy when they just set themselves up for you like this. This is a nice line for them to be approaching you from, because you can take them out quite quickly and easily. Now, another thing about this run that I have to point out, folks, is that there is a multiplier that you can start to build on when you start to take out the Marauders quickly. Don't worry about it in the slightest, folks, because it is not essential in getting a gold score. The only time you really have to focus on the multiplier is if you're going for a very high score. But in this case, folks, the main goal is simply to get a gold score. So it is it's just not worth bothering with multiplier. Just focus on making sure that your shots are accurate. And yeah, these are one of the Marauder types that I mentioned before or showed a picture of, and as you can see folks, that is why I choose these particular ones, because the sledgehammer takes them out nice and quickly. Okay, on to the next wave. Now at this point folks, I actually have another 2 of these Marauders that are wearing the balaclavas, one of the types that I like to take out with the sledgehammer. Now I am taking them out with one shot here, but another reason why I choose to use a sledgehammer on the 4 types that I showed earlier is simply this, because they generally take more bullets in order to kill with a headshot. Now the 2 with the balaclava there, they did take the headshots first time, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you will actually take a shot to their head and it will just remove the balaclava. And that's a strange one, because I never thought a balaclava could take a bullet, but you learn something every day, folks. Okay folks, I know I'm down to the last Marauder again, so I'm just going to take the time to try and get a few more items picked up, as well as just check on what the damage is to the sledgehammer. And thankfully it's sitting at 90%, so happy days. I'm just going to see if I can raid some more of these Marauders' possessions. I won't get away with a great deal here unless I actually take that Marauder to the other side of this graveyard area. So I've just decided to take a few items and then basically take this one out. And now I'm looking at some hard-hitting enemies coming very soon, because really from this point onwards you usually have at least one problematic Marauder every time. And this lot, I think there is at least 2 of the armoured guys. So what I usually try and do when I get them in groups like this, I usually try and take out the ones that are least able to defend themselves. So basically the ones that don't have armour. And at this point, I'm looking to take that one out because he is in a problematic position. But as you can see folks, that is why I have the sledgehammer available. There are other melee weapons that appear that you can pick up as the run goes on. I ignore them all until the fire axe is available. And the fire axe, in all fairness, is only about, let's see what I'm on, 67 kills so far. Yeah, it is basically just 6, in fact no, it's just 5 Marauders away, because once I reached the 73 total for Marauder kills, that is when the fire axe is going to present itself. But before I can do that, I have got another load of hard hitters coming here. And yeah, this is one of the biggies. Again, the sledgehammer just makes the job so easy. Just wait for the guy to come, and then just a quick dive roll, and then take out the armoured Marauder. And this one's going to get it as well as the one over there. In fact, they're lining themselves up very nicely here. And okay, as you can see now folks, 73 is the magic number, and this is a very special wave because there is 2 items I am looking to get. I am looking to pick up the PDW handgun, which is fantastic, plus you get a lot of ammunition for that particular one. As well as this though, the most important thing by far, the fire axe. And at this point I'm not actually sure if I have it, which is why I sort of loiter around there, and then I realise, yep, I think I have got it. And I do actually check just to make sure. Yeah, and get some health. But yeah, I can see there now, yes, I've definitely got the fire axe. So I'm now looking to get the PDW, and there's at least 2 of these Marauders that carry this particular weapon. And the fantastic news at this point is, folks, that once I have this PDW handgun in my possession, that is it. That is the last of any weapons of any nature that I have to pick up. It is then basically just all about finishing the job with these Marauders. And it will start to get even easier, because I am looking at the screen right now and I can see I have 62 headshots of the 75 that I require. So when I get the PDW, you can start taking out these Marauders from quite some distance, which makes the last of the headshots very easy to get the job done with. So it's now quite literally looking to just take my time and get these last Marauders, and then obviously get the PDW. And fantastic, that is the PDW now in my possession. So it's just taking care of the last of these headshots now, and at this point I do realise that the next wave of Marauders is very, very close. So I'm actually backing myself over to the far side of the graveyard area, but you'll see right here, folks, just how good this PDW is. This is why I look to get this as the last weapon, because it just makes this last job with the headshots so much easier, and you can take them from a long way away. Now at this point I know I'm down to my last Marauder again, so I am going to take the time to try and get as many items picked up as possible. And I'm going to do this in a way that I have done earlier on in the run. I just come over to this far side because this is the side of the graveyard area that I don't use that much during the fighting. So I'm just going to take the time here to make sure that all the weapons that I have are ready to rock and roll. And then once this last Marauder heads up this way, I'm going to make a dash for the other side and then just try and pick up as many items as possible and just get myself ready for the last few waves, because there's not many of them left now, folks. There is basically 108 Marauders in total, and you normally hit the gold mark round about 100 Marauders. You do have to get very close to the end of this challenge in order to get the gold score, but it starts to become a lot of fun, because once I've got all the headshots, it's just simply a case of moving to melee kills with the fire axe, and these become very quick and a lot of fun. And also the reason why I mentioned earlier on about the smoke grenades or smoke bombs. They will come into their own in the last few waves because they're very handy, and that was quite nice there. I actually took out 2 of the Marauders with 1 shot. So I know I now have all of the headshots, so I'm on to the final step, and that is basically taking care of the rest of the Marauders with the fire axe. And this is a lot of fun. No, I don't need to show any pictures of the particular types of Marauders that this thing will one swing, one kill with, because it will do it to every one of them. Right then, at this point, folks, I'm now starting to think about using the smoke bombs. I know I have 3 of them, so there is 3 waves that are actually left to take care of. So I'm basically going to use a smoke bomb on each one of these. And this is the beauty of these, because you can really just go in hard and fast. Start moving about, they don't really get too much time to actually do any damage to you. You will take a bit of damage from time to time, but if you go in quickly like that, it's fine. And when you do get to a stage where one of the Marauders is a little bit further away, it's fine, just retreat. But this one's making it kind of easy because he's oblivious to where I am right now. So, yep, at this point, after every wave, make sure to repair the fire axe. Very important. And again, that is one from experience. I've actually made that mistake with in the past. So again, it's just rinse and repeat. And there we go, folks. That is the gold score taken care of. So at this point now, I can just do whatever I like, because it doesn't matter now. That is the job done. Now, another great thing about doing the method like this is that you don't have to worry about getting a gold on every sub-challenge. Now, the way it's going here, I'm probably going to get that, but it is not essential to get a gold score. Now this lot here, it is quite literally just the last of them. And where's that last one? I stupidly go in gung-ho here, and there we go. The very last bastard gets me. But it's okay, folks. I couldn't give a monkeys because the job is done. And there we go, folks. That is my simplified method for taking out the Survive Challenge. As always, folks, thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Take care.